And welcome to the Big Kickoff Football Show with myself, Roy Shanahan, David Bugle and Neil Dobbs. And during the week, Paris Saint Germain's Champions League ambitions for this year were dashed by Real Madrid and the wonderful Karim Benzema. Now Dave, even though the expectations from the PSG fans must have been just to get at least to the final, I'd say how they got knocked out must have disappointed them more. And if it goes by today's game against Bordeaux, there's someone who they're blaming.
Some people, but it seems to be more Neymar. But yeah, I turned on, before we get into the Champions League game, I turned on the game today. They're playing Bordeaux. It was a 12 o'clock kickoff, so nice and safe. I said I'd throw my eye in it for a while just to see what's the story with them, see how subdued they are and a bit flat. And literally from the get-go, anytime Neymar and Messi touched the ball, they booed. And anytime Mbappe touched it, he kind of got a bit of a cheer. It wasn't huge, but it was there. And it was quite loud and boisterous for the first 15, 20 minutes. Started to kind of fade away. But then Mbappe got a lovely goal. It was a nice actual move where Messi was involved in it. He played kind of fizzed the ball into Wijnaldum on the edge of the box. And Wijnaldum just took the sting off it, but put it into Mbappe's path and he hit it first time. So kind of got the crowd going again. But what happened after that was a bit strange because they started to ole every time Bordeaux had the ball. And then when Bordeaux would lose it, they'd start booing the whole team. But more so, Neymar and Messi were getting the brunt of it. So it's not like the French too. They love a protest, and they've certainly stuck the boot in and they put it into the two stars who have come from Barcelona. And obviously the cheers for Mbappe is because they obviously want him to stick around because he's the future and being French as well. But yeah, they're not too happy, and it'll be very interesting. They want this split up probably. That's what they're probably saying. Will the owners take heed of this now? Watch this space. But just a very strange game. Now, there's a massive section of the ultras behind the goal as well that was completely empty. You could see the couple of blocks. It was complete. There wasn't just one or two. It was completely gone. So they're definitely talking with their feet. But obviously, the ones that are there are talking with their cheers, or jeers, I should say. But definitely watch this space after the way they went out at the week. And as you said, it was the manner in which they went out. But very strange to watch a home game like that today. Considering they won 3-0, it was a very, very strange atmosphere, and they are not happy.
No, absolutely not. And Neil, I watched that game as well, thanks to Dave, because Dave actually messaged me talking about it. So I jumped in to have a look at it. But I looked at their shape, and it was no different to what way their shape was in the second half against Real Madrid, where they play with 7 at the back plus the goalkeeper, and Messi, Mbappe and Neymar just don't come back. And how can you win games, especially the Champions League? You'll get away with it in League One every now and again, even though the results aren't that good. But in the Champions League, it's too big a tournament, too many quality players in there to play like that.
Well, look, they got away with it for 60 minutes against Real, and they looked really, really convincing. And I remember watching the game, and I was having a chat with one of the guys and thinking to myself, I don't want Liverpool to get Paris Saint Germain by the way they get in behind the defence and the speed of Mbappe when he breaks in behind. I just have this nightmare of him getting in behind Trent Alexander and scoring 5 or 6 goals because he really, really looked the real deal. Unfortunately, they just seemed to self-destruct on minute 60. They conceded a kind of a sloppy goal. Donnarumma made a mess of the pass. Then Marquinhos had an absolute, I don't know, a Harry Maguire, for want of a better expression. He turned into a different player over the course of a minute, and then he played the ball into Benzema for a brilliant finish. So it was strange to see, Roy. I have to say, like, Paris Saint Germain are normally bang on at it when it comes to the Champions League. I know pre-Christmas they were getting slated for the game against City and how they weren't really kind of a cohesive unit. But this was still a surprise to me after 60 minutes. I thought they were looking really, really strong, but they just lacked the professionalism. They lacked the kind of mentality, I guess, a group mentality. And to see them throw away a 2-0 lead when they're in complete control of the game was baffling. It really, really was. But it just shows that kind of dysfunctional group. I don't know what the word is for them. They're an unusual group of people that can't see that out. And these are professionals that play for international teams that would be, a lot of French backbone in that team that should know how to close a game out. But it just shows that there's, problems behind the scenes there when you can't finish a game like that.
Neil, is it fair to say that Neymar, Messi and Mbappe just can't play in the same side, all three?
It's do you know what it is, right? And look, we're spoiled in the Premier League. We watch it every, week in, week out, and the best teams. And look, let's be honest, we're talking Manchester City and Liverpool. You look at how hard their front three work compared to compared to Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar. I'm not saying they're not maybe not as big as named players, but the work effort that they put in, the runs they make, the tracking back.
Are they the wrong personalities? Especially because I think that the PSG fans aren't stupid, and I think the reason why, I don't think it's just because Mbappe is French. I think it's because Mbappe is quality, and you can see that he's trying to do the job that he's trying to do. Where Neymar and Messi look disinterested unless the ball is right on their toe.
I've never seen, I mean, let's be honest, Messi in his prime to me was when he was with Pep that time, and they were winning everything in Europe and they were just supreme. But like, maybe it went unnoticed. Did he work that hard when they were out of possession? Remember the Pep 3-second rule where you have to win the ball back? Maybe he did. Maybe they're lacking a manager with enough kind of balls to turn around and say, this isn't the way I want you to play. I don't know if I buy that, because Tuchel tried his best there. You see the way he is at Chelsea, he's ruthless, and he couldn't get a tune out of him on a kind of consistent basis. I think just as a trio, you can maybe have a luxury of one player, be it Messi, that you can allow to have that kind of free role and maybe not track back, but you certainly can't have three and you can't have two, and that's why they get found out. As I said, they were brilliant for 60, but when the cosh came and they really had to dig in, they were nowhere to be seen. And I'm not doing it as a scapegoat scenario. I just think they weren't up to the task. They didn't have the fire in the belly. But I will refer, and I'll give Neymar, I know he's getting a tough time, as Dave is alluding to, but I've seen Neymar carry that Brazilian side maybe 8 years ago, World Cup, where he looked like he was really up for the fight, and I think he led the team. But it's definitely a different type of player that you see in the last season or two, where they just seem to be wrapped up in their own kind of ego, which is
well, isn't that it though? Neymar was the focal point, but he's not the focal point in this team. So I think the personalities of Messi and I think the personality of Neymar struggle, because really and truly Mbappe is the fella who's at the top here, even though these two have been used to being at the top for so long.
Yeah, and I think the other side of it is, right, as well. The reason why Neymar left Barcelona was because he wasn't a top dog. He wanted to be the Ballon d'Or winner. He wanted to be the main man, and he was never going to be the main man once he was under Messi's shadow. So he moves out, he goes to Paris Saint Germain thinking, I'm going to be the main guy here, which he was. Along comes Mbappe, and he's just, you're talking the difference between being world class and a little bit more world class. Like, it's phenomenal, the talent that Mbappe has, but he's infectious, the way he runs with players, the effort that he puts in, and that's why he's so sought after at the moment. So again, Neymar finds himself, in the second, if not third tier seat now, and I guess it doesn't really play well in his mind.
Yep, Dave kind of touched on it there. Neil did. Is it Pochettino's fault? Neil doesn't quite think so. Is it the club's fault?
Yeah, clubs like Tuchel, Ancelotti, Pochettino, don't know who else. They've all tried to unlock that Rubik's Cube and they can't do it. So you can't say it's Pochettino's fault, that's for sure.
As for the first, as Neil said, for the first 60 minutes,
yeah,
I'm not sure even if I give them the 60 minutes, but it was definitely just a touch into the second half. But they were playing awesome football. I thought they were great to watch. And then all of a sudden, it just looked like tools were down.
Yeah, but there's a bit of a soft touch now as well. Like, there's a massive loss. Like, everyone talks about the leaders up front, but they're the headline grabbers. They've missed Thiago Silva. He's been gone. Marquinhos doesn't look the same centre half. Kimpembe's there. He's a good player, but like, there's certain players like that are missing, and that's at the midfield now are all over the place. They keep chopping and changing. Di Maria's in and out. Wijnaldum's in and out. Verratti's been injured. Paredes is in there. It's all very mix and matching now in the midfield, and then the defense isn't quite there the way it used to be. So there's a few other spines, major parts of the spine of the team that have been missing or not quite kind of humming in order to give those guys the opportunities to really shine. But yeah, like, blame owners as well. I suppose that's the easy one as well. But to be honest, it just goes to show you this is a money bags team, just like Man City, and neither of them have a Champions League in their pocket. So it just goes to also show you how hard it is to actually win it, because it is a cup competition. You have a bad half an hour, you're gone. You played well in Paris, you played well for the first hour, and then few mistakes, and bang, you're out of here. And that's the beauty of this competition, and that's why we love the knockout, because everyone has a chance. Even the likes of United, when we slag them off over the week, like, write them off at your peril, lads. 2005, we've been there. This shit happens. It's still a cup competition, so the best in Europe don't always win. It because you can get a bit lucky with what you do. So that's why putting all the eggs into the Champions League basket is so difficult, because you need to be perfect, but you also need to be lucky, and it's very hard to get that right, especially when you're the favourites, because there's pressure, and you can't have a bad day when you get to the knockout phases. So it's bloody hard, and when you've only got that all year for Paris, because the league is so easy at the moment, like I think they're nearly 18 points clear, it's in the bag. When that's all you've got, massive pressure, and that first goal went in, and all of a sudden the doubts and whatever nerves they had got magnified, and they imploded. And learning to cope with that pressure, it's probably unbearable for them, I'll be honest with you. And now the fans have had enough.
Yeah. I actually think the last time when they fell apart against Barcelona, I thought, looking at this is why it really bothers me, and I'm with the PSG fans. Again, I just looked at Neymar in that game, and I looked at Messi, and I'm just saying, why aren't you going back and chasing and blocking gaps? And it was just unforgivable. So I can totally understand why. I'll finish it off with you, Dave. Pochettino in the job or not for next season?
I'm sure there's a red half of Manchester might start sniffing around alongside the guy Ten Hag in Amsterdam. I'd be surprised if he's there. Not necessarily. Like, I'd be surprised if he's still there, because they're fairly ruthless with who they are. Look at Tuchel. Like, as soon as they lost, I think he got them to the final. Am I right in saying he was gone? Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. So the fact that they might let him play out the rest of the season just for the hassle of trying to get somebody in now, but I'd say they've already started the process without a shadow of a doubt. But Pochettino, likable guy. I actually ironically watched Rio Ferdinand was out there a week or two ago, kiss of death, obviously, because it was just after the first leg, I think, and came across well, had a lot of good things to say about the majority of the team, including Messi. But I wouldn't mind seeing that interview now, because he looked very forlorn in the first half, didn't react to the first goal. Maybe he knows something already. He's just sitting there with his arms folded. I don't know. But yeah, I'd be shocked if he's still on that sideline first game of the season next year. That's for sure.